I would personally like to welcome you to Friday Drive-By, your Friday Drive-By. I'm Chris Collins, and this is Christian
Hello, everyone.
Lafferty for the laughs,
Host of Lafferty's Laughing House.
the man with the jokes. This is where we answer your questions, mostly pertaining to service drives. We don't get too many parts questions
Not yet.
or relationship questions.
We did just plug it on Parts Hold the last time we filmed to call and get parts swag.
The number is 8333-ASK-SDR if you have a question, 8333-ASK-SDR. Let's go to today's question.
I have been offered a job as a shop foreman for a high-end European dealership that I have 14 years of experience with. The question that I have is negotiating for salary. The company that I work for is a good company. They take care of their employees, but I don't know where to start as far as I know a dollar amount that I'd like to be paid, but how the management crew wants to break that down. Is that a percentage of gross, percentage of parts and labor, CSI kick? I'm not certain how that really boils down, and I need to start negotiating that this quarter. And so is there any tips, any kind of info you could provide like that? I would appreciate that a lot. Thanks.
Do you have a preferred shop foreman pay plan? Like, I usually just do a base plus hours. So like so much per hour flagged, and then a CSI bonus. So
I was just going to Yep. I've done the CSI kicker hours and flat salary.
Then I do in some of the stores, if you're doing instant inspection, there is a percentage of sales off of that usually.
Okay. That's definitely a thing I've done before. I've also negotiated in adding staff, adding techs to the shop and to the shop foreman pay.
It's if they're paid on hours, when they add techs, they get more hours.
Yeah, either way. Trying to think of other things that I've done in the past, but
I prefer hours over gross, but I don't know that gross is a bad measurement. It's just hours kind of have the feeling of you're just stacking them up. Like the more hours, the better. Gross is a little less tied to the performance because it's kind of
true. However, wouldn't you say that if they did pay off a gross, then it would be a great excuse for the shop foreman to start to learn the business side?
Yeah.
So it could be a gateway.
So grosser hours, CSI, little. I would say 25% of your pay is probably CSI.
Yeah, and then just as a side note, later on down the road, what I would also do is I would track the change in hours from before you started to after you started. Like, you should definitely be paying attention to that number and what you're adding to the business.
So if I broke it down, I would say 25% CSI, 25% either a bonus on hours or gross, and then 50% is a salary. That's how I would do it.
I like it. It's easy.
Awesome. Well, that was an easy question.
We should have another one just like that.
Good morning, Service Drive Revolution. This is Ryan, and I am out of Central Texas, and I have kind of a loaded question to kind of deal, pick and choose as you please. First question is, at a dealership, how do you guys like to say loaners are handled? Does it go to anybody? Is there a priority? How long do you say people can stay in them in case it's just a noise complaint? Second question, you have multiple service advisors and you're first or last at the end of the day. How do you handle someone else's tickets? You're based off of commission. So do you say you're just doing your part as a team, or do you put it off and wait till that service driver's available? Also, too, how do you guys see about appointments? How many appointments should you schedule in a day whenever you all know you only have a certain amount of technicians? Is there a considerable amount of time to tell customers your wait time is, or is there something that's just not acceptable and you just need to go with the flow and hope for the best? Second off, how often should you update customers once every couple of days, and I'm talking about if you have no information at all to tell them. Do you call them after 2 days?
That's a lot.
That was more than 2 questions, Ryan.
I counted 4.
I like the little revolution at the beginning, but okay. So should we go backwards or forward?
Any way you want to do it, I can go from.
Let's go from the beginning. So what was this first question?
How long do you let customers stay in loaners?
Okay, so the amount of loaners you have would determine what you use the loaners for. So like, when I ran a BMW dealership, we had 300 loaners and we gave them to everybody because we wanted to eat up the market. If you have 10 loaners, I would only use them for bigger jobs and, stuff that is covered under warranty that you can get reimbursed. So it completely depends on the brand, the loaner program they have, and how you are financing them. Are they offset by warranty, or, are you just eating them? And that's a financial decision. But hands down, the more loaners you have and the more available they are to anybody, the more ROs you will write. What's the next one?
Well, I was also going to say too, he'd asked a really good question about how long do you let the customers keep them afterwards? I would say that you want to get the loaner back as fast as humanly possible, because a lot of times customers will stay in the car as long as we let them. And I think that one of the things that really makes the service department kind of stand out amongst others is length of loan. And I think that the one of the areas where you can just chop a day right off is if you have a really good program for, getting the customers to come back and pick up their cars either same day or next day at the latest. But you have to have that conversation when you're giving out the car.
And then it's communication from the advisor, calling them and giving them notice. Like, hey, it's in the morning. Your car's going to be done by the end of the day, so I need that loaner back, kind of a thing.
Okay. Are you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
So Ryan wants to know, what should we do in a situation when I'm here after hours and one of my coworkers' cars, that customer comes in to either pick up their car or drop off of the car, has a question about it? What do we do with that thing and handling the communication with someone else's ticket?
Tell the customer to come back tomorrow.
That is not true. Do you want to try again?
I like to partner up the advisors. So, knowing the schedule.
Look what I wrote.
Buddy system. So I'd partner up, and then you partner them by the schedule, right? So if one's late, one's early, then you can partner them. Same thing with days off.
So as an advisor, I did that, and we took really good care of each other's cars.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
and you don't have to tie pay to it.
Never once wanted anything extra from it, because I knew that if I took care of his cars, he was going to do the same thing to mine. There was no thought of commission came into that. The next question, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Is how many tickets essentially should you write based on capacity and scheduling? How many cars do you take in?
Okay, so let's go by the premise of 3 technicians to every advisor, which is where you should start. So if you have 3 technicians for every advisor, depending on your appointment percentage, right? So if you write 100 cars in a day, but 50 of them are appointments, that's going to kind of skew this number. If, oftentimes when we go into a Toyota store, they don't have an easy appointment system. You can get them to 80% appointment, but it takes a minute. So that's a factor here. But I would say, just in an ideal situation with 3 technicians per 1 advisor, I would make 10 to 11 appointments, knowing that 2 or 3 drive-ins are going to happen. So I want the advisors writing somewhere around 12. If it's Mercedes or BMW or, kind of Highline, I might make 8 appointments depending on the advisor and what I'm trying to do. But the more you control that, the higher sales you'll have per repair order, and the better CSI and communication and retention you will have.
Oh, that's pretty good too. I had written down here 70% rule, where whatever my capacity is in my shop, I want it scheduled for 70%, but it all depends on what your walk-in traffic is for sure. But When you're saying you might have 3 walk-ins out of 10 appointments, that's right around 70%.
Yeah, and in some markets, like let's say you have a Honda store, you want them to be able to just drive in and get an oil change. And so
Super easy.
your 30% are going to be drive-in oil changes. And since we don't believe in a quick lube, that's spread out amongst all the advisors. And so you want to leave, I guess the other thing is we do appointments every 20 minutes, not 15 for advisors. So if they're doing 3 appointments, you can strategically give them holes in their day to write non-appointments. So you want to take that into consideration.
Yeah, it's super easy to write 12 to 13.
Never, ever, 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 no matter how many times people have told me that it works, have I ever seen booking by hours work.
It always ends up short.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And it's one of those things that in theory it should work. I've never seen it work.
Yeah.
Although people swear it does, and then when you dig in, it's not working.
That's great. I love it. All right. Ready for the next one? I actually think this is the last one. Ryan from Central Texas is,
Texas.
how often do you update customers?
How often do you update customers?
So,
when the car's going to be there a while?
Yeah, when the car's going to be there.
Yeah, so that's easy to me. Like, so let's say I got a customer and there's a part that they got to pull off the factory line. And we know that part's shipping from Korea or Germany or whatever, and it isn't going to be here for at least 2 weeks. I tell the customer, hey, let's pretend you're the customer, okay? You want to role play with me?
Yes.
Christian, how are you doing? Okay, good. Your car
Did you just
is
answer my question?
Your car is unfixable, Christian, and so bad that they have to pull a part off the assembly line in Germany. And they're saying the soonest it'll be here is 2 weeks. So let's look at a calendar together. I'll call you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, it just depends. I guess my answer is it depends on the situation. But if you tell there's no reason to update the customer every day if it's not going to be there for a week. Tell the customer the truth. Like, hey, I'll check with you in a week, but the way that it looks right now, it's going to be a week before I have anything else to tell you.
Okay.
All the customer needs to know is the truth and what's going on in a plan. I never had a customer feel uncomfortable with the fact that I didn't call them for a week if that was the appropriate time to check in with them. It's when you tell them you're going to call them in a week and you don't call them in a week and it's been 2 weeks and they got to call you is where the problems start. So I think that's dependent on the situation and telling the customer the truth, but I don't think you have to call them every day if there isn't something to tell them about. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I think that setting expectations is the punchline to that thing, right?
Yeah, and it's common sense. Like,
yeah, and I think that's exactly where I'd go. I've had times where, as an advisor, it was going to be 2 weeks, and I'd said, "Hey, the part's due in 2 weeks," and normally what I'll do is I'll check in with my clients and let them know after a week, even if I don't have anything new to tell them. I want you to hear from me so I know you didn't forgot. But if you want more communication than that, I'm happy to do it. I just need to know what your expectations are. So I'll do that too, where if someone just likes to be called every day just because they want to make friends with you, I don't care. I'll make a status call every day. But usually what happens, even if they say I want to be called every day and it's 2 weeks, by the third day, they're like, okay, you don't have to call me anymore.
Yeah, no, overkill.
And they're just happy that you followed the instructions.
As a customer, I'm not answering that call. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Maybe a text.
Yeah, but by 3 days, they're like,
it
don't
doesn't make me feel any better if I know it's going to be 2 weeks that you touch me every 3 days.
Yeah.
It seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
To me.
But they have a vote in setting expectations is the key to making customers okay with communication.
Great questions. Thanks for that.
How much swag should we send him?
Just regular swag.
Okay.
What do you want? Extra swag because he asked too many questions?
Yes.
He should give us swag.
What kind of swag do you think we can get from Central Texas? Football swag.
Tacos.
No, tacos. LA is the hub of the taco.
Thank you, everybody. Remember 8333 Ask STR, and we'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution.
Thanks for watching this week's Drive By. I hope we gave you something to think about over the weekend. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.